Hello, and thank you for joining me for today's class, which is a short class to address our lymphatic system and how we can help our lymphatic system to drain more effectively. So I am going to be going into this in more depth in the future, but for today this is just a simple class to give you a few ideas of how you can support your system. So sit down in a comfortable position. You can do this from a chair to start, or I'm sitting on a couple of yoga blocks just to make it more comfortable. And we're going to be starting off with some just very gentle movements to get lymph flow through the upper body. Before we do that, I want to explain that our lymphatic system does not have a pump. So whereas our heart has a pump that pumps our blood around the body, for our lymphatic system to work effectively, we have to move. So we have to move that lymph around using exercises such as walking, or you might be swimming or dancing or trampolining, whatever it is that you like to do. That is really great for getting your lymph flow moving. We don't want stagnant lymph, because lymph really carries away from the body all of our toxins, dead cells. All of that stuff is going to be released from the body through our lymphatic system. So it's really important that we keep it moving. We want to be hydrated, drink plenty of water, and we can also help drainage through things like massage and movement. So today we're going to combine a little bit of massage and movement, really. And what I want you to understand is that lymph from our face and our head drains down our neck to this upper chest and collarbone area. Now, lymph from our lower body also moves upwards and eventually will drain from this upper body area. So you can see how important it is to really move things around. And this is where yoga is so brilliant, because yoga takes us upside down. We have lots of inversions, we have lots of twists, we have lots of movement that helps both the flow and the drainage. So let's start from the upper body, and then we'll move things back up the legs. So from the face, if we have puffiness around the face, a really nice way to address that is just gently tapping. So tapping under your eyes if you're prone to puffy eyes, or above your eyes, your forehead. Tapping the face is all we need to do to get that lymphatic movement, okay? Because our lymph just is beneath the surface of the skin. It's not deep in the muscle, it's really quite light movements that we need there. And then coming down the neck, we can use our fingertips again, up and down the neck. And then as we get to the chest, we can switch maybe to our knuckles, and we're just going to tap around. Now we're going to spend a bit of time just tapping in the center of the chest, because underneath your breastbone there we have our thymus gland, and that's a really important part of our immune system. And as you can imagine, like, getting rid of toxins is really good for our immune system. Keeping our lymph moving is good for our immune system. And then we're just going to take the fingers and we're just going to lightly rub underneath the collarbone over on one side of the chest. So what we're trying to do here is kind of create some nice drainage flow, because in these areas we have lots of lymph nodes. Okay, it's really rich with lymph nodes around this upper area. And then around the armpit as well, so you can give a little rub in the armpit. Lots of lymph nodes there. You could also tap around your armpit and tap around your chest. So tapping is a really nice way. Okay? Thinking of lymph flow from your hands up your arm, you could do some nice, long, light strokes in an upward direction. Okay, and you can do this if you have a bristle brush. You can do like dry brushing in that upward motion. So you're always thinking about bringing it all up towards the chest to be drained. Let's do a little rub underneath the other armpit. On the other side of the chest there. And again, you could do some light strokes up your arm. So I just want to give you the idea. We're not spending an awful lot of time on this, but if you're doing this at home, you could really take your time and get to know your body, and sort of you could be rubbing on some nice lotion, really practicing a little bit of self-care. Okay. So, getting some stimulation and movement in this area, we're going to use some yoga poses for this. So firstly, coming in, thinking about the neck, okay? Taking your chin over your left shoulder and then all the way over your right shoulder. And back to the left, and the right, and the left, and the right. Coming back to center, chin up towards the ceiling, and then in towards your chest. And again. And then back to center. Then some gentle circles. As if you were drawing circles on the wall in front with the tip of the nose. And all the way back in the other direction. So don't push through any pain where the neck is involved. Always nice and light. And all the way back again to center. Then we're going to do a few shoulder shrugs. So drop the hands down by your side. Squeeze on the inhale and then drop on the exhale. Feels so good. It's like shrugging the worries of the world off your shoulders. Do one more. And then we're going to get into a little bit more movement around the shoulder itself. So taking your arms out to the side. One palm goes up, the other palm goes in the other direction. And we're starting to go side to side. So this is a great shoulder mobility exercise as well. But think about when you wring out a towel to get all the fluid out. That's kind of what we're doing for our shoulders. And then, if you take a pause, whichever palm is up, you're going to reach up, try and find your upper back and take the other hand around as if you were trying to join the fingertips behind your back. And maybe you will and maybe you won't, and that's okay. We're going to switch sides, and you might find that one side is a little easier than the other. We'll do a couple more. Really getting some nice flow and movement here. And blood flow as well, so really good for the body in general, good for your shoulders. And then you can take a pause. Bring in the hands then, fingers up onto your shoulders, a few big circles with those elbows, just to kind of finish off this upper body section. And then we're going to reverse that, bring it back. And then just bring your hands lightly to the side of your head and take a twist. And then twist in the other direction. So your sit bone's going to stay nice and grounded. And we're going to keep going. And you could get a little bit of momentum going. And then just because I know as well your shoulders are tired, we're going to switch this up. You're going to keep twisting, but you're going to bring the hands down and just tap around your tummy. So as I said, we have lots of lymph nodes in the abdomen as well, and stimulating that area. And then you can come back to center. So maybe just feel into your body for a moment. You feel the tingling, the movement. You can tell that you've got things going. So we're going to come off the cushions or the blocks if you're sitting on them, and we're going to come down to the floor. So I just want you to take your time and roll down nice and gently. And once you're down on your back, we're going to think about the sort of lower body and how we can get lymph moving there and how we can get it draining upwards. So firstly, bring the knees into your chest. Okay, we're going to take then the knees out wide to the side, and we're going to circle the knees separately. So just kind of stimulating in the hip and groin area, just kind of opening that up. And then reverse that movement back. And then just to go a tiny touch deeper, if you bring your feet to the floor, just bring your fingertips and give a little rub, kind of into that groin area, just around your hip crease, inner thighs, just encouraging that opening there. And then we're going to bring our feet back off the floor. And keep your knees together and keep your ankles together, and then start to make big circles with your heels as though you were kind of drawing those circles on the wall in front. A few circles in one direction, and then reversing that and a few back. So a little bit of momentum there, warming into the knees. And then just take a pause and just give a little rub to the backs of your knees. And then we're going to bring the feet down onto the floor. We're going to bring the right knee into the chest and extend the left leg long. Okay, so there's a little squeeze here again into that right side and also into the abdomen. So we're going to do 3 breaths in, and on the exhales we're going to be bringing the forehead up towards the knee. So you can make that one your first. Take another breath in. On your exhale, squeeze and release, and then squeeze and release. Circle your toes to get into that ankle there. A few circles again in each direction. And then we're going to bring the hands to the back of that right thigh and extend and bend that leg a few times. And then you're going to keep that leg extended and point and flex through that foot. And again, maybe a few ankle circles. So again, encouraging drainage from the foot and the ankle, back all the way down that leg, into the groins, into the stomach. And then again, sliding up, so you could also, another little rub for the back of that leg, and then slide your hands up. And we bring the forehead up. You can give your ankle a little rub there. So a nice stretch for the hamstring, and then roll yourself all the way back down. And again, you could do a few nice strokes up your leg, encouraging lymph flow upwards, reminding yourself that's the direction things are traveling. Bring that foot to the floor, bring your left knee in. We're going to repeat all of that. You can extend the right leg long. Again, a few circles with the toes. And then taking a breath in, and on your exhale, nice squeeze, forehead to knee, and releasing back. And then 2 more, and releasing back. And there you go. Going to take the hands to the back of the thigh, and you're just going to stretch and bend. So these are really sort of simple movements, but you can kind of build them in to your day. The ones we did from sitting, and these maybe before you go to sleep at night. Again, maybe a little rub for the back of that knee, just gently. And then sliding the hands up the leg, maybe a little rub around your ankle, especially the inside of the ankle. Maybe bring the forehead a little closer for that last stretch, and release back down to the floor and bend your knees. So maybe now you can feel a little bit of stimulation from the lower body. Going to bring the knees back into the chest. Going to take another nice twist so the arms can go wide across the floor. We're going to bring both knees down to the floor on the right, letting the knees come down, letting the feet drop down, maybe rolling the head in the opposite direction to the knees, and encouraging some nice deep belly breaths here. And even maybe some long, slow exhales out through the mouth. A sigh in the breath out, blowing the breath out. Take one more breath. And then we're going to bring the knees over to the other side. All the way over and down to the floor on the left. Right shoulder rolls back. And again, just encouraging the belly breathing. And the nice, long, slow exhalations. And when you're ready, bring in your legs back and bring in your feet to the floor. So bring your hands down by your sides. We're going to come into an inversion now, and yoga has lots of inversions, and bridge pose is a really good one, so easy enough for most people to do, so hopefully you'll be fine with this. Feet are about hip width apart, knees are about hip width apart, hands can be down by your sides. You want to wriggle your shoulders down away from your ears, and then push a little bit into your lower back and lengthen your tailbone to kind of towards your heels. Now we're going to start to push into the feet and lift the hips, and you're going to be rolling onto your shoulders and your upper back. And don't let those knees splay out. Keep the knees working in towards each other. Focus on lifting and squeezing the hips up towards the ceiling, so squeezing the bum. Lifting your chest a little bit towards the chin, but nice softness in the back of that neck. And a few breaths here. So our hips are becoming higher than our heart, and our heart is higher than our head. So bringing that lymph flow up the body into this area around your collarbones. And then just gently, when you're ready, rolling yourself back down to the floor. Now I just want to show you a couple of different options there. One thing that you can do in that pose when you come up is to grab your cushions or your blocks, and if you haven't got blocks, you could have like nice thick books. Lift your hips and slide whatever it is underneath the back of your pelvis so that you can stay here for a little bit longer with more ease. So this would be a restorative kind of bridge pose. You might even like to try that with the arms over the head. And you could stay there for a good 5 or 10 minutes, bringing that flow. So it's not as high. Another option you could do though is to keep your pelvis on the blocks or the cushions or the bolster if you have one, and kick your legs up in the air. So can you see now my hips are still higher than my heart a little higher than my head, but also now we're getting lovely lymph flow down from the legs. So you can roll out your ankles there. You could do this with your legs against the wall. You could do this with your legs lying across your couch or your bed. And that's a really lovely way to end the day, because this position not only is helping your lymph flow, but it's helping you to establish really a nice abdominal breath. And that is so important, again, for keeping that lymphatic system flowing. So if you have a little bit more sort of core strength and you don't really want to do the more gentle restorative, you can take a little bit of momentum and bring yourself into a shoulder stand or a half shoulder stand, which is what I'm doing here. And don't turn your head when you're in this position because your neck won't like it. So my pelvis is supported by my hands, and I'm just going to take a few breaths there. So if that's not for you, you can use the blocks, and when you're coming out of that shoulder stand, bring the knees into your head and just roll your body back to the floor. And always give yourself a few moments just to let your body return to its natural kind of state, its balance. Let your spine find its natural position again. And I hope that has been helpful for you. I'm going to come up to finish the video. But that's a few ways that you can help to support your lymphatic system. And I hope you'll give it a try. And I hope I'll see you again. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.